I see 2015 as a Pyrrhic victory for films, for games, for competitive fucking whittling. If the bag were any more mixed, it'd be fake crying about gun control on C-SPAN. It was the year that gave us Netflix's Daredevil and took Lemmy. The year that gave us Sting in an actual WWE ring, then proceeded to allow Triple H to teabag him into the ninth dimension. I feel like a battered wife here. Every outstretched hand is a potential fist fucking. Yay, new Star Wars movie! Fuck, not Dusty Rhodes! And Christopher Lee! And Roddy Piper! And Elizabeth Scott! And Leonard Nimoy. 2015 killed off more Hollywood careers than canon films. And on the gaming front, make that double-edged sword a triple A to be exact. Be forewarned, folks. This list is gonna have some big-ass names on it. And shriek the word contrarian all you like, dickwad. It doesn't change the fact that 2015 was the year indie broke out and AAA broke down. But fuck the exposition. Let's break out the hip waders and sift some sewage for the top 5 turds of 2015. It seems for at least a 5-year period, WB Interactive have been tirelessly vying for the coveted crown of most engorged, prolapsed assholes in the gaming industry, once adorned by the failure foundry that is Electronic Arts. Well, as of 2015, congratulations, WB Interactive, a winner is you. You plagiarized gameplay in Shadow of Mordor, story in Glitcher 3, and took a Mad Max game with infinite promise and ensured it would never emerge from the mire of movie licensed mediocrity. And even with that sordid resume, nothing quite prepared us for the home computer launch of Batman Arkham Knight Rider. To call Arkham Knight's PC port an afterthought is to imply that WB Interactive is capable of forethought. In an industry where the PS3 version of Skyrim has the frame rate of a flipbook, yet remains sold at finer retailers from here to Neptune to the present day, what in merry fuck does it say about Arkham Knight on PC that it had to be excised from the market entirely? The initial revelation that the game would be locked at 30 frames per second in perpetuity already chapped our collective asses, but when the final product emerged with the unbridled frame rate of an underwater rave, well shit.
It's a clusterfuck.
Bet WB fixed the problem before you can say class action ass fucking. They must have been on that like Steve Shives on a block button, right? Right?
Wrong.
You try nearly half a year, asshole, and that's putting well the fuck aside the genuine gameplay flaws even the console iteration of the game suffered from. Repetitive puzzles, tap X to win combat, motherfucking tank stealth. For all the gory details, head on over to my
shameless plug
Batman Arkham Knight Rider review for all the good, the bad, and the samey, but suffice to say that any game that holds the actual ending at ransom until you complete an exhaustive decathlon of vacuous bitch work has absolutely no business pulling in 10 out of 10 scores from any reviewer with activity above the brainstem. Mediocrity cubed. Next. Hey gang, do you like movies? Trick question, it's 2016. Of course you don't. How's about the next time you watch a movie, you pause it at perfectly arbitrary intervals to tap a button, causing a negligible change in the scene that follows, culminating in a narrative bottleneck that amounts to 5 minor variations on the exact same fucking ending? And how about every time you voice in the perfectly valid complaint that you would derive more pleasure from simply watching a movie, or point out one of the myriad labyrinthine plot holes, we employ a chorus of shrill land-bound orca to shout down your every grievance with a single utterance of the phrase, "But it's a parody!" Never mind that the developers of the game never intended it as a parody, even going so far as to expressly state in later interviews that they intended it to be a genuine horror title. Never mind that the entire internet is literally plucking a non-existent satire and parody qualifier from thin fucking air to justify their abiding affection for talentless Let's Players who sell rehearsed womanly shrieks over the interwebs and likely put their kid through college with this fucking game. Spotty controls, janky motion capture, subpar voice acting.
It was just a prank, Han.
Well, now you're just grasping at straws. Even though the game is selling these features almost exclusively, if you hate Until Dawn, well, you're wrong. Especially when you're right. Next.
Electronic Arts Entertainment. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
What a piece of junk.
Between focus groups, shareholder sharecroppers, and an internet with more backseat game design than Harriet Tubman doing Mad Libs, the corporate game production process has all the spontaneity of Obama's TIRAC. But even on a desolate, creative moonscape such as this, Star Wars Battlefront is one of the most callous corporate cash-ins ever to grace an ever more venal industry. After 7 straight years of painstakingly repairing their public image by acquiring Mass Effect, Dead Space, and Mirror's Edge, attempting with varying degrees of success to establish themselves as a genuine artistic force in an increasingly banal industry, the past 3 years have seen the EA Archons backslide to the movie license mundanity of yore. You pricks wanted John Riccitello gone? Well, Merry Christmas and welcome to hell, asshole. New Star Wars movie? Well, here's your exploitative Star Wars game, folks. You know there's something deeply amiss in the industry when more passion goes into defending a game in a YouTube comment section than was originally poured into the game itself. A hollow successor to the venerable Battlefront series, an insult to the storied Star Wars license, and easily the most financially successful, shockingly shitty game since Assassin's Creed III. In the hands of Pandemic, this may have been one of the greatest Star Wars party games in existence, and that reminds me, how the hell is Pandemic anyway? Oh, well, I'm sure they employed a truly worthy developer to brandish the reins in their absence, but who will it be? Could it be the aptly named Mythic Studio? Well, maybe EA Los Angeles. But surely we can't possibly be disappointed by the peerless, boundless brain trust arrayed DICE.
Oh! We're doomed.
You know what's even worse than a shitty game? 15 quadrillion interlocking parts of a shitty game, every solitary one of which you have to pay for individually as DLC. Call it Chewie is modernized to the point of parody. The farce is strong with this fossilized Tatooine turd. Next. No surprises here, because after an initial shit blizzard of boundless hype and thoroughly undeserved 10 out of 10 scores, in the intervening months, it's become increasingly obvious, even to the most fervid faithful of the cult of Kojima, that Metal Gear Solid's 5th outing is a repetitive, pompous, self-aggrandizing bore, positively oozing vapidity from every conceivable orifice, including the new and exciting ones I tore the fuck open during my proper review of the game. If Silent Hill 4: The Room, an excellent and atmospheric psychological horror title in every other respect, must suffer the disconsolate stigma of being considered a disappointment merely because of a final fifth of admittedly tiresome backtracking, totaling all the 20 goddamn minutes, then how in the lowest chambers of human hypocrisy does Metal Gear Solid The Phantom Plot, a game already sporting subpar stealth gameplay, for whom easily 2/3 of its lugubrious duration is unerringly devoted to a procession of deliberately regurgitated missions with deliberately regurgitated objectives in deliberately regurgitated locations? What's good for the goose is good for the goat fuck, and if the witless imbecile in the mainstream gaming press hadn't compromised their integrity being slapped in irons for a compulsory review boot camp, they might have played the game long enough to realize that the most entertaining thing about the game is the first 2 days you play the fucking thing, and the least entertaining thing about it is absolutely everything after that. Stealth games do not have a stealth mode. This is what separates Skyrim's streamlined sneakifying from the first 3 Thief games said stealth is transparently inspired by. Well, that it controls UI, playability, art style, story, nuance, atmosphere, and overall fucking quality. Though admittedly, both Skyrim and Metal Gear Flaccid do steer into the same turbo-linear opening sequence shit skid. Look, everyone, including Skyrim's wide-eyed coterie of frenzied fanfucks, you know the type, the ones who perch greedily below Bethesda HQ on the off-chance Todd Howard gets his Palm Pilot license and discards a crusty Kleenex from the 3rd-story window, even their delusional ilk weren't in such slavering, overzealous, Kojima-ass-licking lockstep that they would reflexively defend an open-world game with a restrictively linear opening sequence that undermines all of the above, particularly a compulsory crawl fest with no pause function, might I add, where Snake does a linoleum belly flop and clumsily clambers from cutscene to laborious cutscene so Kiefer Sutherland can earn $9 billion bison dollars for producing a series of half-assed monosyllabic grunting noises. Can't imagine why there's a 5-mile wide crater where Konami's profitability used to be. Movie caliber story, movie caliber gameplay. Next! Hey, remember when this was supposed to be the first true next-gen experience? You know, shortly after Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct, Call of Duty Ghosts, Destiny, Thief, Assassin's Creed 4, Assassin's Creed Unity. Battlefield 4, Watch Dogs, and Dragon Age 3 The Apology? Of course you fucking don't. Given the fountain of feculence that fired the fuck off subsequently, it's like stubbing your toe 5 minutes before you get back alley butt fucked by a gaggle of syphilitic strangers. Good luck remembering what toe it was. But upon further review, the Order 1886 is a symptom of every malady presently afflicting a beleaguered AAA industry. For one thing, the act of sliding the disc into the tray was longer than the game itself, not to mention excruciatingly overrated visuals that serve as something of a reintroduction to a long-lost friend that until now I was convinced had been lost forever to the incorporeal ether of the PS2 era, our good buddy the Betty White blur filter. Are your textures not up to snuff? Is your art design unexceptional? Is 50 Shades of Grey an apt description of your color palette? Well, slap on the glaucoma goggles, call it a design choice, and prepare to rake in enough undeserved cosmetic accolades to qualify as an honorary Kardashian. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Walk, walk, walk. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Talk, talk, talk. The Order 1886 may have launched a bit too early in the year to make most other people's lists, but make no mistake, this is one of the most aggressively mundane shit shows in the history of contemporary gaming. One that if there is even an iota of justice in this meaningless existence will be reviled well into the next console generation. Do not play, do not rent, do not waste the calories extending your middle finger in its general direction. Here, allow me to do so by proxy. It must be consigned to the pedestrian pyre, forgotten but never forgiven, and the lies Sony sold us extolling its peerless quality go right the fuck in on after. 2015, the year the big boys failed to launch, and the new kids rose to the occasion and gave their wife a savage dicking. Here's to hoping 2016 washes the taste of tripe out of our collective mouths. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed!
Can't wait till tomorrow.
Am I doing something wrong?
No. I mean, I thought you were one way, but you're kinda another way. Does that make sense?
Gay!